Hello, chemistry crew. It's Kara Lenorvitz, and welcome back to our 13th week of segment 2. We are definitely getting really close to the end. I'm hoping that this finds you rested, relaxed, and rejuvenated from your April break and ready to hit the ground running all the way until the finish line coming up in the not too distant future. So let's just take a quick peek at some of the things that we want to touch on base on in terms of housekeeping. As you know, continue to use the weekly learning plan. We will resume our synchronous sessions this Thursday, April 29th. So I will look forward to having everybody back together again from 9:30 to 10:15, our usual time. Office hours again will return this week at their regular time. So Tuesday between 8:30 and 10:30 and Wednesday between 1 and 3 in the afternoon. And then in terms of upcoming things, just a couple things to keep in mind. We are in our last content module of the year. So hang in there. It's some good content. It's going to draw on your knowledge from previous learning and understanding of chemistry, and I think you're going to find it kind of fun to put those aspects into play in a new way. Absolutely, please do keep an eye on your grades. For those of you who have assignments that are more than 2 weeks past due, you're going to start to see those zeros going in. Make sure, remember, those zeros don't mean that you're done with that and there's nothing left to do. It means that that's a piece of work that absolutely needs your attention. So do go back, take a look, make sure you don't have anything that's missing or incomplete, and make sure if you do that you're following through and turning that work in. You should keep in mind there are some pending deadlines that are coming up in the very near future. If you've been keeping pace, these are probably going to be less of a concern for you. But for those of you who are catching up or have been behind for whatever reason, you want to make sure you're being really mindful. The first one is coming up on May 21st, and that is going to be the deadline, by which I mean no work beyond that, for any work from modules 5 through 7. So definitely make sure you've gone back and looked through modules 5 through 7 and filled in any gaps that you have. The other upcoming deadline is the following week, May 28th, and that will be the deadline for any remaining semester 2 work that's in module 8 or your final exam. So just keep tab of those 2 dates and make sure you're finishing with those 2 pieces in mind. So if we take a look at where we're headed, we are really close to the end. The week that we're in right now starts right here with Monday, April 26th. Again, we'll be back for a regular synchronous session. We'll repeat and do the same thing again next week. And then the following week, we will have our DBA for Module 8. That will be our last discussion-based assessment of the year. That following week, you're going to start to wrap up Module 8 with your Module 8 exam. You're going to find out more about your final exam. And note again, at the end of that week, Friday, May 21st, is the deadline for any Module 5, 6, or 7 work. So you want to make sure you're up to date with that. The following week, your final exam will become available, and the deadline for any Module 8 or final exam work is going to be Friday, May 28th. Part of the reason for that is to make sure that we have grades completed and submitted in time for those of you who are seniors to make sure your grades are closed properly for you to graduate. I also want you to keep in mind, if you are not a senior, if you are on pace and following this schedule, that means you're going to be wrapping up your course obligations before you head into Memorial Day weekend, which is a pretty big treat. So make sure you're following through appropriately for you. Well, let's take a look at what you have on the agenda for this week for content. The first thing is the Module 7 exam. In order to gain access to that, you will need the access code. That's going to come once you have submitted your Module 7 DBA. Remember, that discussion-based assessment you did asynchronously. It should have been turned in on Monday, April 26th. If you've turned it in on time, you should expect to receive that exam access code on Tuesday. Please know that you absolutely can move on to work on your Module 8 work before finishing that Module 7 exam if you want a little more time to review. In Module 8, you're going to be covering 2 new pieces of material. One is going to be about properties of water. So you're going to be thinking about properties that you've probably been considering as normal all your life with water, one of the most ubiquitous substances on Earth. Water's a pretty unusual chemical, so you're going to learn a little bit more about the chemistry behind why it behaves the way that it does. You're going to need to bring back to the surface of what you're thinking about what you already know and understand about polar covalent bonds and the interactions between the hydrogen and oxygen atoms within the same molecule, as well as intermolecular forces that happen between neighboring water molecules. We focus first on water because water is considered a universal solvent. And the next thing that you're going to focus on is molarity and dilutions. Molarity and dilutions are both ways of representing the concentration or the strength of a solution. So you're going to learn a little bit more about that. And absolutely, molarity sounds like moles because it has to do with moles. We're going to continue to use that same fundamental unit to be able to compare substances of different types with each other. And then, of course, on Thursday of this week, you're going to attend class and we're going to continue to practice with that new content. So let's look at the weekly learning plan. As usual, you'll see a short narrative introduction to the weekly learning plan, the new learning objectives that are there, reminders about communication and about pacing. And again, you'll see those deadline reminders here for work up through Module 7 and then for work from Module 8 to the end. So make sure you're mindful of those. Your to-do list, you have 4 jobs this week. The first one is your Module 7 exam. Again, a reminder here that you will receive that access code once you have turned in your Module 7 DBA, so make sure you follow through there. And again, a reminder that if you've turned in your Module 7 DBA and you don't want to start on the exam right away, you can jump right into Module 8. So you're going to be working on properties of water and molarity dilutions. As usual, I've given you some additional video links there for you to explore from a different perspective. And then 4th job is you're going to be attending class on Thursday. As usual, office hours will occur this week. You can sign up as you usually do in Canvas, and then helpful resources that are here for you. So here's our quick summary for this week. Again, you have 4 jobs. First one is the Module 7 exam. Assuming you've turned in your DBA, you should be seeing that access code in your email on Tuesday morning. Second job and third job are 8.01 on water and 8.02 on molarity and dilutions. 4th job is to attend class. Again, if you're behind pace, this is really where you want to turn it on and get yourself caught up. And if you do need help, please do not hesitate to reach out. I will be available via email and regular office hours this week. So you should feel free to check in. I look forward to seeing you on Thursday. Welcome back.